Nice run and a good one. Williams outside. 15 keeps his feet. And Williams finds the end zone. And he is in for a touchdown. On second down, here's a toss. Here is Lucas. Jalen Lucas, that great speed. Keeps his feet. Inside the 30. Lucas, 10, 5. Touchdown, Indiana. It's Henderson cutting back and finding the end zone. Touchdown, Indiana.
Happy New Year, everyone. This is the Hoosier Happy Hour with no brag, just Seth and I. Episode 186. 186 hours of content. And this one may be one of the best ones ever. This is Hoosier Happy Hour presented by Big Banter. This is me, Brandon Dubich. You can follow me at Brandon Dubich on Twitter. I refuse to call it X. And fortunately, we still have Seth with us. Seth, thank you so much for taking time to chat with us today. If you haven't done it already, you can unblock him because it's no longer football season. And, you know, maybe we want to get Seth's opinion on the Bears draft position or want to see his reaction when Purdue loses in March again. These are all going to be entertaining things. So go follow Seth at SayTaw5. But first, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to get out of the way because Seth sat down with 4-star Center Grove recruit Tyler Cherry to discuss why he chose IU and much more. Seth, before we start it, tell us a little bit about the interview.
Yeah. While my depression may be amusement for other people, you might get some real amusement out of Tyler Cherry. This guy, he's smart. He's nice. I keep waiting to meet with one of these guys and sit down with him and be like, oh, what a prick. I can't wait for him to fail at IU. But every time I talk to one of these guys, they come off as just great guys. He's smart, really has it together between the shoulders. And I think you guys are getting a gem.
Perfect. Love hearing that. Hear a little bit more now with the interview with Tyler Cherry.
Hey, Tyler, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you coming on and taking some time in the new year.
Yeah, no, thank you. I really appreciate you having me on, and I couldn't be more excited. Thank you.
Oh, it's awesome. I know there's a lot of people who are very pumped for you to be coming on board. One of the things I am very fascinated by is just, if we can hop straight into this, if you don't mind, is the pipeline that Center Grove has really created. Is it Eric Moore? Are they putting something in the water down there? What is it about Center Grove that's really producing some high-end talent here lately?
Yeah, the coaching staff is something that every kid could ask for coming through high school. Coach Moore does a great job just leading the program. He's one of the best coaches I've ever been around. He's a Hall of Fame coach. He knows how to lead, and he's just a great coach to play for. And then you get into the position coaches. My quarterback coach, Coach Siderwitz, he does a great job just every single day, day in and day out, preparing us to be ready to play and just to improve and develop ourselves.
Oh, that's awesome. And I know there's been a lot of players who have come through there. A lot of quarterbacks especially have been coming through there, especially even Taven before. And I know you've had some family members as well who have played quarterback. What is that kind of experience? I mean, just having all of these guys available to you for tutelage, what has that done to help you grow as a quarterback?
Yeah, it gives you so many resources. Just as a young kid, you're looking up to all these guys, and then once you step into their shoes, they're still there to help you. And if you ever have any questions or anything, they're there for you. And like you said, my uncles both played quarterback at Center Grove, so asking them any questions that I ever have about anything. So just good to have a bunch of resources like that and a community like Center Grove where that's available.
That's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about your recruitment process as well, if you don't mind. I think there was some writing on the wall when Duke had the coaching change, obviously, that went through there with him moving on to Texas A&M, and you decommitted. I think there's a high degree of speculation that, hey, there's kind of some synergy here, some coincidence. Can you talk a little bit about kind of the decommitment process and what what kind of the ultimate plan was originally going to Duke?
Yeah, so I kind of fell in love with Duke. That was my first choice there coming out of the full recruiting process out of everyone. I made that back in May. Wanted to have that all figured out before my season in summer and everything going into that. So got that out of the way and was happy with my decision. But once there started to be rumors about everything with Coach Elko leaving to Michigan State or Texas A&M, wherever they were thinking he was going to go, it started to open up a little bit for me. I had some other schools reach out, And then once Indiana landed Coach Signetti and those guys, they reached out almost immediately and were already talking to me before that I had even decommitted officially. So they knew what they were doing, and they got on me quick. So once I officially decommitted from Duke, it was really down to Michigan State and Indiana down the stretch between those two, both new coaching staffs and stuff like that. But in the end, I really fell in love with the hometown school of Indiana and the new coaching staff with Coach Signetti, Coach Shanahan, and Coach Tino. So I'm really pumped to be a Hoosier.
That's great. What was the differentiating factor then ultimately between IU and Michigan State? Was it, just the 5 degrees warmer weather? What was the ultimately deciding factor about, like you said, the really interesting comparison is both have new regimes coming in, new coaching staffs who really want to have that freshman quarterback to, be that establishing rock for the first season coming in.
Yeah. Like I said, there's a lot of comparable factors between the two schools, Big Ten schools, new coaching staffs coming in. I think it just came down to the coaching staff of Indiana. Coach Signetti and those guys recruited me. They did a great job. I just couldn't see myself anywhere else besides Indiana after being down there multiple times and getting to be around those guys and feel the vibe that they give off. It's just something that you can't ask for coming into college, anything better than that. So just really looking forward to it and excited.
That's awesome. So now I'm going to ask you to be a little bit critical of yourself here now. Not in a bad way, but just as far as a self-scouting report, what are we getting at IU, over the, 3 to 5 years you're potentially going to be here? What is the average IU fan going to get out of the Tyler Cherry quarterback?
Yeah, I'm going to come in. I'm going to be the best leader I can be around my teammates. I'm going to be the guy that's going to work his hardest, stay in the weight room as long as I can, and stay in the film room, study as much as I can. I'm always going to be prepared. On the field, I got a big arm, really accurate, and can make some plays with my legs as well when needed. Off the field, I'm just going to try to be my best to be a good person and impact the community in the best way possible.
Oh, I mean, that's refreshing to hear. I think you always want to make sure that you're, balanced in everything that you do. So having that off the field priority is definitely important. Speaking of off the field priorities, this is always a weird one with the NIL, with the new shape of the changing landscape of college football. Playing in the Big Ten, especially with the shifting sands of the of the realignment of the conference schedule. What does it mean to play in the Big Ten? I know you originally aligned in the ACC, and then we came back. It was down to the 2 Big Ten schools. Is there something about the Big Ten that means a little bit more? Can you talk a little bit about that, maybe?
Yeah. Growing up in Big Ten country here in Indiana, those are the games that you watch, are all the Big Ten, the new big noon kickoffs, all those games. So it kind of feels like being at home playing in the Big Ten. I feel like it's something that was meant to be after leaving the ACC there when I was officially committed to Duke. But I think just being back home and being committed to Indiana and the Big Ten is something that it's pretty special for me, just growing up watching all those games as a little kid.
Awesome. Do you have any plans on enrolling early? What's your plan for for spring semester?
Yeah, I'm actually enrolling early down at Indiana. I move in on the 3rd here in 2 days on Wednesday. So looking forward to that. Class will start on the 8th, and I'm ready to get going.
Oh, goodness. It's great to be young. That's fantastic. That's awesome. Is there anything you're really excited about? What's your first thing about getting on campus here? In 3 days, I was going to say in the summer, but What are you looking forward to most about getting on campus?
Yeah, I'm just excited to get down, get to feel the campus. My mom went to school at Indiana, so she's kind of given me some backgrounds of everything, but I'm excited to get down there and get the feel for myself. Just a big school, lots of people, excited to meet some new friends and stuff, get in there with the football team. It's all new for all of us with the new coaching staff, so I'm excited to learn as much as I can from the people around me and just have a great college experience.
Awesome. All right, one last football related question before we move on to some more blase topics here. Let's do who would you not compare yourself to, but who aside from family members, aside from Center Grove guys, who would you compare yourself to? Who do you look up to as a quarterback? Influences.
Yeah, no, as a player, I see myself as a Justin Herbert, Josh Allen guy. Big guys that can move and have good arms. I like to watch a lot of their tape and study what they do. So when I'm in my meantime, I like to watch and learn as much as I can from those guys. They just do a great job. And those are probably my 2 biggest NFL quarterbacks that I look after.
Oh, nobody's going to complain about those 2 comparisons. That's for sure. All right. We're going to transition to some fun stuff here. Hype music. what do you listen to before a game? What's your go-to track? Or well, I shouldn't say track. I'm so old. Sorry. What what do you put on the headphones to get hyped up before a game?
Yeah, it's usually the locker room's bumping with whatever music, whoever's on aux. I'm not the big aux guy, but I'll put my headphones in and zone in. I'll listen to some Drake. I'll listen to some old school AC/DC, just whatever I'm feeling, just to get me going.
Awesome. What about your pregame meal? Or maybe it's a postgame meal. I was always a postgame meal. I couldn't eat before a game. What is your like go-to either pregame or postgame meal?
Pre-game meal, I'll have to say, is the Team Moms Catering Texas Roadhouse mini cheeseburger sliders. Those are the all-time favorite there. Post-game meals got to be something from Culver's, probably a double cheeseburger with some cheese curds.
Right on, dude. All right. Favorite non-football pro team?
Favorite? I'm gonna have to go with let's see here. It's a tough choice. I'm gonna go with the Portland Trailblazers. They're my favorite basketball team. I used to love watching Damian Lillard when I was little, watching him play for those guys, but he's gone now, so it's hard to say I'm still a big fan, but I'll go with those guys.
All right, right on. My last question before I get you out here. I anticipated this going to be something that maybe you didn't have an answer for, but now that you're 2 or 3 days away from starting classes, or from at least stepping foot on campus, do you have a major picked out?
I don't have anything officially picked out. I'm looking to get into the Kelly School of Business. Like I said, my mom went to Indiana, and that's what she did as well. She graduated from the Kelly School. So I'm looking to get in the business area. I'm not 100% sure exactly what I want to do, maybe business management, something like that. But definitely want to try and get into the Kelly School of Business.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much, Tyler, for joining us today. Happy New Year. We wish you nothing but success moving forward. Thanks again. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you. I really appreciate you having me on. It's good to talk to you. Thank you.
All right, guys, we are back. How was that? That was pretty awesome. I could listen to that. Seth, you knocked it out of the ballpark, but you came second place.
I still don't know where I came up with blase from. I was like in the middle of the interview. I had it all lined up. I'm like, segue. I don't know where that came from, but whatever. Who cares?
Nobody said we were professionals. We're fans, just like all of you listening. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Seth. Thank you, everyone, for listening onto that. Now, let's get into our show. But first, like always, we got to do a little bit of housekeeping. Actually, the opposite of housekeeping, house cleaning. Fire sale. You guys got some gift cards. You guys got some cash from grandma. That cousin that didn't know what to get you gave you $20 in your stocking.
That Visa gift card you have to activate by calling some weird 1-800 number.
Yeah, they're not even a QR code. You actually have to dial a number. Shirts are $10. Stickers are free with every purchase. Go buy it. Get it vintage. Go make fun of a friend. Who cares? I don't care what you do it for. Just buy it. Because if you buy it, then we can go get more merch. That's the way it works. There will be no Hoosier Happy Hour stickers. There will be no Hoosier Happy Hour shirts. There will be no other Hoosier Happy Hour stuff until we can blow this stuff out. So do the dang thing and go get some merch. While you're on that, jump onto our socials. Happy Hour IUFB. Check out the link in the bio on Twitter or on Instagram for more details. And guess what, guys? We gave you that Tyler Cherry interview for free because he's awesome. It's an awesome interview. But if you join our Patreon for $3 a month, not only are you going to get discount on all future merch up to 20%, but you're going to get exclusive player interviews that we are going to ramp up in the off season. It's really tough to do in-season interviews. The players are busy. We're knocking out 2 podcasts a week. It's really hard to do. We are going to have some time to get into front of some players, possibly some coaches. So jump on $3 a month on Patreon, and you're going to get some awesome stuff from now until next season. Speaking of next season, Seth, there's been a few things in the news, IU and non-IU related, huh?
So let's start with the fun one, because this one at least made me laugh. Unfortunately, at your expense, obviously. But let's start with the Phil Dunham tweet. What was going on here, Brandon?
So, I'm going to tell a story. I'm going to redact names. But I work for a company that, a lot of companies, you got to wear a lot of hats, right? So, this guy had to fill in for a role. And when we refilled that role, he was like, no, I want to do that job. And we're like, no, we hired someone else. You got to go back to your old job. He's like, no, but I want to do that job. Buddy, that job ain't here for you anymore. And unfortunately, that's what I think happened to Phil Dunham. Phil Dunham went into the portal. He went to go find greener pasture. He thought he could just come right back. This is all conjecture. Guys, I don't know this. This is how I read the situation. I think he thought he had a one-way ticket back on the team. Not so fast, my friend, to channel my inner Lee Corso. Yeah, I think he just assumed he could walk right back into the door, and the door was locked. Did you read the situation the same way?
I have no idea. With some of these things, it could be a simple mistake. It could be one of those things where it was a misunderstanding. I have no idea. And I never want to blame a 21, 22-year-old kid
Of
for,
course.
some silly thing like that. It's just, for me, when I said it was comical, it's just the idea of, a little bit of embarrassment for the other side when it's like, hey, that guy, tweeted something and I had to delete it right away. And it's always unfortunate. But I think what we're going to get into here soon is there's a real numbers crunch that's about to happen. And again, I don't want to get too far ahead of it. We'll talk about this big weekend that's coming up. But you really have to start, unfortunately for Phil, there's a squeeze that's happening in real time. And especially with this window opening up this week, there may be a couple other guys who have some very tough conversations.
Phil Dunham has had some really high moments. He's made some clutch interceptions, some clutch tackles. His play also against Michigan State, where he's tried stripping Malik Carr and he just walked in the end zone, unfortunately, and a game we lost by 3 points. Those aren't the reasons why this happened, but I'm just saying, Phil Dunham, we love you. We've been super complimentary of you on this podcast, but I think him and all other players have to realize they aren't in complete control when they go into the portal. I think that is a harsh realization that Phil, conjecture by me, unfortunately may have found out. But I think all players across the country, hundreds of players, are going to find out that the grass may not be all greener, and you only have a guarantee for the guarantee that you made the pledge for originally. This isn't on there, but let's talk about another guy kind of experiencing that right now. Let's talk about Jalen Lucas. He's a guy who flirted last year, is flirting now. There's not too many roster spots left.
No. And
we know the talent Jalen Lucas has, but sometimes you have to understand your own value. That's something about growing up, right? You do job interviews, right? Applying someone like me and you to someone like Phil and Jalen are not, that's apples and oranges, but you got to understand what your worth is and understand the reality of the situation. And that's tough for a 19 to 22-year-old.
Yeah, I always talk about a mutually beneficial relationship. Is you have to have a situation for employee and employers. Same thing with coaches and recruits or players.
Yeah,
is sure. Both sides have to be getting something positive out of the situation. And sometimes the reality and the expectations, or I don't want to say ego for this kid. I don't know anything about that, but maybe just the reality and what the actual fit is are two different things. And sometimes it's a hard reality to hit when what you see yourself may not be how other people see how they can benefit from you. And that's unfortunate, but also that's again, you talk about the risk reward of going into the portal is, I could go out there and somebody could fall in love with what I have to offer. But then the opposite could be true as well, as they could like what I do, but they may see something that they just might not see the fit that I see.
Yeah, exactly. It's things are opening up for players, but things are also getting complicated, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's trying to weave that fine line of how do you describe all of those intricacies of the experience right now, and being in that nebulous right now is a very dangerous place to be, especially at this time of year when rosters are really starting to settle in.
Yep, and I think this is actually a perfect segue to our next segment here. There really used to only be one window, right? Well, two. Well, there were 10 years ago, there was one window, and that was recruiting period, right? And then graduate transfer came, right? So then there was 2 periods. And then early signing period and late signing period came. So then there was 3 periods, right? Now there's portal during camp, portal during the season, portal after the season, early recruiting period, late recruiting period, spring portal. Like, there are so many windows now that again makes it difficult for the coaches, makes it difficult for the players mostly. It's fun for us because it's kind of nonstop content for us content creators, right? But there's a harsh reality that I think is sitting in all across the college landscape.
No, I think you're spot on. And I think the transfer window that we're going in right now and having the visits you're coming onto campus right now, the list is quite long. And I think
so
there's some impact
bowl
players. Yeah.
So now there's fall camp portal, in-season portal, post-season portal, now post-bowl portal.
Mm-hmm.
Like a tongue twister. But let me tell you guys, if you haven't had the chance to check out who's visiting over the next 4 days, there's 9 guys, and I think almost all of them would be starters. At least 6 of these guys would be instant starters on this team, which is pretty crazy with a roster that's already at 86. My number's 87. I've read 86. Doesn't really matter. You can only have 85. So we're visiting 9. Seth, what is your opinion of this before we get into the names of it? I have to think, because this is the last portal window for early enrollee. All 9 of these have to be takes, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're not wasting this early signee window for non-takes.
Yeah.
That would put the number at 90.
Yeah, they're all positions of need, which I think is
all but one.
Sure. But of course, I think the one that you're referring to might be the crown jewel of the group.
All right.
Talk about a loaded wide receiver room.
Right. All right. Let's get into it. So the first one is TJ Jackson, defensive tackle. We've been on this pod multiple times saying what separated Indiana from the other really good Big Ten teams. It's the trenches. And TJ Jackson is a run stuffer, right? He is the number 19th defensive lineman in the portal. He's from Troy. Now, for those that don't follow Sunbelt, Troy was unbelievable this year. And how were they unbelievable? Their defense. Their defense was one of the best defenses in the country, and it all started up front with this guy. Bragg didn't fill it out. I think he only has 1 year of eligibility.
I think that's what I read as well.
Yeah,
it's been a couple days.
He just has years of eligibility, which with no number on it. But I'm not going to Ron Burgundy this. I'm pretty sure when I did my research, he only has 1 year of eligibility left. But this guy, again, position of need, always in the Big Ten. It doesn't right now, according to Peegs, the defensive line only has 6 guys. Yeah. 6. That's a position of need with a really good player, TJ Jackson from Troy. What's another position group? Secondary, specifically corner. Cameron. Now, I like our starting corners, but how many times has injuries on the outside plagued?
So often.
I think right now you got Kobe Minor and a combination of Jameer Johnson, JoJo Johnson, and Jamari Sharp. You got to feel okay with those 4, right? But just okay. Definitely something that I think we need to bring more in, or at least backfill, right? Because you look at Kobe Minor Sr. You look at Jameer Johnson, senior. You look at JoJo Johnson, senior, right? So here is Cameron Calhoun coming from the school that's what is the school he's playing for?
Playing for the national title on Monday night.
Playing for the national title. This guy was a 4-star coming out. He's a 4-star transfer. This guy is a stud.
Pedigree. Mm-hmm.
He hasn't done much. I think he's only played 2 games, so we don't really know. But there's one thing I trust, Seth, and it's Michigan's scouting practices.
Yes.
I hear they're pretty good.
They're in game.
I think they're pretty good at figuring out the signals of what makes a player good or not. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough bad pun jokes. Here was the one that I don't understand. And we were actually different. Running back Elijah Green from North Carolina. You know we love some North Carolina running back transfers. The only thing that intrigues me here, Seth, because I love our running back room. I really do. We have 7 of them right now. 7 of them. But the reason I like it is this guy has multiple years of eligibility.
Yeah, I think he would be a play for 2025 more than 2024, because as I see it right now, you have a 3-headed monster at running back between you have the powerful bruising thunder in Howland. You have Henderson, who's kind of the every down back who can do anything you want to do. You have who was the transfer you guys just got, who's the 3rd down receiver?
There's 2 of them
from
actually.
JMU.
There's 2 of them. Mm-hmm. Tyshawn Lawton is the one we covered.
That was the one.
Kalen Black is the one we didn't cover. We'll cover some of the other transfers that we didn't cover.
And then the Wake Forest guy, Justice. So I mean, you have a dearth of running backs there, where you have a lot of running backs there who have talent. If I'm Elijah Green, I'm like, that's a pretty loaded room, man. So maybe if you're looking at me for 25, great, I can be the featured back. We can roll, but. I mean, Howland probably still will be back in 2025 as well. But anyways, it's, I don't know, but hell, it's hard to turn down bodies.
Not only that,
North Carolina's produced a lot of good running backs lately.
Gosh, they're putting dudes in the NFL every year.
Their guy this year is a stud too.
Yeah. Also, I love seeing guys not wanting to run away from competition. 1, that's the right kind of guy. Mm-hmm. And 2, I like to think, Seth, you've never seen me in full sales mode. I like to think I'm a really good salesman. I don't know how they're pitching these running backs. Like I want a sales lesson from Coach Sig and the running backs coach to figure out how they keep adding bodies to that running back room.
Well, whatever he's doing with the quarterbacks is working. So I'd be interested to hear what that pitch is, because it seems to be effective in a lot of different
Elijah,
positions.
You're good and can probably play at any Power 5. Come fight with 3 other super seniors. I don't know how that sales pitch goes, but it's going to happen this week. Let's jump to a position of need we already covered. And this is a weird one. I think this may get in the murkiness that we're going to talk about a little bit, but we got DB Justin Harris. He's from Cincy. I know of a couple DBs from Cincy that are enjoying Sundays right now. He has an awesome 2023 stat line. 31 tackles, 6 pass breakups, 3 TFLs, and 1 interception. And he committed to Texas State, which won its bowl game, beat Rice. That was, I did really well in.
Yeah, I was going to say that one paid off for me.
So he was committed to Texas State, but I didn't know this rule. Justin Harris taught me this rule. When transfers don't sign like an NLI, they're not on a team until they step onto campus and register for classes.
Yeah. So this is the really weird thing. So that's an intricacy I didn't know about, but I have noticed this ongoing trend of this cycle of players entering the portal, committing to one school, and then re-entering the portal.
Yep.
It's you've seen it a couple of times with a couple of Indiana
The
transfers.
tackle that went from Colorado to Oregon.
Benson.
Benson,
And
yeah.
then also with oh goodness, why am I thinking the lineman who came in from Oregon? Then he committed to he came to IU, then he went to Oregon State, and now he's back in the portal again. Anthony Jones.
Jones, yeah.
So I mean, it's a really interesting little concept where they'll commit because they have to commit because they need to make sure they're a body. They're counted as a body as well. So they make sure they have a home. And then they're like, okay, well, maybe I committed a little too soon. Maybe the Fun Belt isn't quite the level I'm at. Maybe I'm a little above that. And now they start searching again. It's a really interesting process.
Yeah. 1 year of eligibility. He fits in that super senior. Again, it had a really good year at Cincy. I'd take Justin Harris.
Playmaker. If you're looking at a DB who's making tackles for loss, that's a special thing. And I look at those 6 PBUs as 6 interceptions that were, just a half a step away or half a fingertip away.
Yep. Our offensive line is looking pretty nice. It's the first time I think I've been able to say that since early Tom Allen, late Kevin Wilson.
When you said the biggest difference was in the trenches between Indiana and a lot of the other Big Ten schools, I wanted to say, as the season went on, the offensive line wasn't so bad. It was really the defensive line that was really the only big deficit. But
yeah. Well, talk about big. Jacoby Jackson, 6'6", 320. They have him as a guard, or he played guard at Texas Tech. He's got tackle size.
Yeah.
For sure. Definitely on the left side of the line for a righty quarterback. But he's got 2 years remaining as well, so Coach Bob can coach him up. He's not my number one, but he's right up there for me with TJ Jackson on guys that I think again will play. If I don't know about start, because again I really like our offensive line right now, but you can't teach 6'6", 320 with Power 5 experience.
No, bodies again on the offensive line, depth. Bodies never turn down a size like that with experience.
Yep. Here's one thing I just didn't get to because you have a job that you work very hard in. I have a job I got to work really hard in. We got safety Terry Jones, whose stats don't make sense. Like they'd be insane stats for a video game. This guy is a safety, Terry Jones from Old Dominion.
He's a little bit more of an in the box safety but yes.
So that's why I didn't look up any highlights. I didn't look to see what kind of defense Old Dominion. Those are the things that, like, if I had time to dig into this, I would have. I didn't. He had 107 tackles in a season.
Insane.
107 tackles. That some people just know how to find the ball. That's what I always said about Micah McFadden. That's what about Cam, right? Some guys just know how to find the ball carrier. This right now here, I think, again, I don't want to rip former players. I feel like our safety depth hasn't been great for years. Who's the guy that we sent to the Broncos? I'm blanking on his name. Bragg would instantly say it. We haven't had an impact safety. We've had good safeties. We've had serviceable safeties. But since him, he was on the Indiana 2020 team. I can't think of his name. But he got drafted to the Broncos, and he doesn't start, but he plays.
Is that one of the Johnsons? No.
I don't remember. Doesn't matter. It does matter, actually. But anyway, Terry Jones is my number 2 of this entire list of guys I want. Too many times did we got beat on the back end. And I don't think this guy lets that happen. And it wasn't just one season, Seth. He had 63 tackles in 22, 69 tackles in 21.
Jamar Johnson. I was right.
Jamar Johnson. Yep. Like, this guy is a difference maker. And he's a super senior. Looking on it right now, there's a reason we haven't done a 2 deep, guys. I know every other IU football podcast is doing a 2 deep. Why? We don't know the way it's going to shake out. I don't know if there's a safety that jumps out to you right now. You got Sangetti, right? And I think Sangetti's a good safety, but he's not Super Bowl, right? Same with Nick Toomer, same with Bryson Bonds. All these guys, they're good, but they're not solidified their place in the starting lineup good. Terry Jones, are you with me? To me, one of the top guys in this class coming?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this has got to be one of the priorities. If you're saying, you can only get 6 of these 9, or you can only get 4 of these 9, whatever that number is, he has to be above that cut line. Because again, you've mentioned the players who are there, who are on the roster currently. None of those guys are going to be hurt by bringing in high level competition, experienced competition. None of those guys are going to be detrimental, or are gonna have some kind of negative effect from learning from 4 years of consistent play, of having, what is that, over 300 of tackles over a 4-year career. Nobody is going to be dumber or worse as a result of having that guy on your team.
Yeah, no, I'm all aboard the Terry Jones train. Almost the exact opposite here. In Grady Kelly, defensive, another trenches guy from Colorado State, freshman All-American. Those don't grow on trees at all. And again, you can't have enough bodies. Again, I mentioned the number 6. We got 6 guys on the defensive line coming in, and 3 of them are juniors. You need guys with multiple years, and Grady Kelly fits that. And he's been a freshman All-American, so he's done it.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, the 6 is a number that should scare the pants off of most of you guys. That's just not enough bodies. So again, if we're prioritizing the top 4, top 6 of these 9 guys, he's definitely on that top 6. You definitely need, if it's not him, you need another body. And I don't see another defensive tackle available right now showing interest who would fill that same role in a way that he would, and also have the eligibility remaining that benefits you long term.
Yep. So here's this is an interesting one, because I actually like our linebacking room. 8 guys in a 4-3. That's pretty good, right? I don't think linebacker is a huge position of need. Certainly not like the DB room and the defensive line room. But Jaden McDonald is the leading tackler from that Troy defense we were talking about earlier. 73 tackles, 9.5 tackles for loss. He was the anchor. He wasn't the most talented guy on that Troy team, but he was the anchor of that defense, that nation-leading Troy defense. I'm not sure how you say no to that guy. My thing kind of goes back up to Elijah Green. Why is he coming here? I love it. I think he could compete for a starting spot immediately on this team, but pretty crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as far as it goes, he's one of those guys who he's not exhausted, but he's kind of gone to the height of where he can go at his level, and he really wants to put himself on display in his last year by going to a big school, and then ultimately hopefully parlaying that into a professional career.
Yep Totally agree. Let's talk about the one that I think everyone probably wants to talk about, and that's Elijah Sarrett. Our wide receiver room could be top 3 in the Big Ten coming into the year, and we might be getting the second or third best guy on the team visiting this weekend. That is Elijah Sarrett, 6'2", 82 catches, 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns, 2 years of eligibility. This guy is potential all Big Ten, Seth.
This is the thing that it's an embarrassment of riches, because you have so many receivers who are already on the roster who you feel comfortable with, and you still have Cam Camper who's already in the who's already in the portal, and you're like, oh, it'd be great if he came back, but probably won't happen just because of a sheer number crunch and just the oversigning. But this guy is the crown jewel, the experience. And you have to figure that with everybody else from JMU coming this way, there's an entire exodus of this East Coast talent coming from JMU. We have to be the favorites, right?
I don't. I don't think this has to be a two-way street here.
Right, right.
These guys aren't visiting if they're not serious because they can't visit anywhere else. I mean, they could, but if they want to be an early signee, it's pretty thin window here. So I would have to think everyone visiting in this early enroll window is equally as interested as IU is.
Yeah.
Especially since seven coaches, including the head coach. And what was the total amount of players? 9?
At least, yeah.
Total. Again, it has to be more than that. We just signed 7 in the last period. So that's double digits. I'm way off on my numbers there. But yeah, Elijah Sarrett, the crown jewel, him and Terry Jones are the two that I want. Elijah Sarrett is an all Big Ten player. It's embarrassing or Richards is the way to put it. We got about 10 minutes left here, and there's 2 things I want to bring up. And this is just a short topic because I think the other one's a longer one.
Hold on, do the promo real quick just so we can get that out of the way.
Okay, cool. You guys know who it is. Back to the show, and that is, I can't believe James Madison's fan base is reacting the way they are.
Oh, you're still
We've
on
lost
them.
coaches.
Oh, goodness.
Players haven't. It's only getting more embarrassing, Seth. Have you ever seen a fan base lash? Even Purdue.
Yes, mine last year. We did this. Yes, I know what you're saying. It's absolutely true. It's the only thing I can equate it to is the losing of like a girlfriend. It's like you see her thriving with this new boyfriend, and you're like, that son of a Did
you love Louisville getting smoked in the bowl game?
Oh, yeah, of course. I made money off it too, and it felt great. But yeah, it's time heals all wounds. JMU has a nice infrastructure. Whoever came in there, I forgot, whatever. I'm sure it was a great hire. I'm sure he'll do fine. They'll be fine. They'll get over it. Winning cures everything. Time moves on. All right, next one.
All right. So it's got to be the topic on every Hoosier fan.
Mm-hmm.
Mind is, are we experiencing the football version of creening? For those that don't know what creening is, Tom Crean in the early years used to constantly oversign and kind of hold tryouts in the summer sessions. I think we're seeing that version of it, and I don't have any problem with it at all. We've talked about it this entire time. These kids are making that decision. Are you telling me they haven't talked with the coaches or their parents knowing that there isn't 7 other guys in that running back room, that there aren't 4 other quarterbacks in that quarterback room, right? You made the decision, go earn your spot. Personally, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I can only relate it to what I've experienced, and watching kind of like my nephew get recruited from NAIA Division III levels. Like, they're very transparent with the players. They're like, we have 4 shooting guards. You're coming in. You'll be the 5th one. If you want to come in here and ride the bench for 3 years, great. By year 4, you can play. Other times they're like, we have nobody. The cupboard is bare. Come in, and if you just have a pulse, we'll literally give you 10 to 15 minutes a game. So just depending on how transparent they are. And then at the end of the season, they're like, yeah, we're bringing in 5 new shooting guards next year, and it might be tough shit for you, but they end up having the same things that we have with our employees every year during the review process. They have them with their players. And so I expect these conversations to be very transparent, but at the same time, pushing those people and encouraging the competition. So I have zero concerns about what do you call it? Oversigning,
creening.
I think, Crean was a little bit more of a blowhard in that I think he thought every one of his players was going to go pro after their freshman year. So he constantly had to recruit 13 players to replace every roster because he thought he was going to be the next Calipari. Anyways, that's besides the fact. I think from the way that we're seeing the evolution of the transfer protocol is the post spring signing period, because the emphasis now on the spring program and then ultimately the spring game. You now have a mass exodus after the spring game because they're saying, holy shit, I've looked at the 3 deep and I'm barely on that. I just played against every one of my compatriots and they just whooped my ass. I need to go somewhere else if I have any chance of getting playing time. So I think you're going to have the expectation that probably 5 to 7 guys are going to be leaving come April. So you have to overstaff. So again, I'm going back to my hiring terms. You overstaff because you anticipate there's going to be, not layoffs, but maybe you have some retirees coming off board or something like that. So yeah,
retention.
I think it's a smart move, and I think he is playing it safe now that he has the resources to go after players where he's not, in a situation where he has to be desperate for players, where he's like, okay, now I have a little bit more power and I can be more discerning in who we bring on and who we bring in for visits.
We all love the stories of walk-on players getting scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's better than the stories of walk-ons getting scholarships? Adding guys like Elijah Sherritt, Terry Jones, TJ Jackson.
Yeah.
That's better.
It's even better than a 3 or 4 star recruit, because that these guys have played on a college level. You don't have to worry about, do their skills translate from a high school to a college game. Now we know that they can produce at a college game. Can they go from a mid tier to a high tier? And
right.
that's a hell of a lot smaller jump in a lot of cases.
So the thing that I love, and I know we got about 90 seconds here before we got to get out of here. The thing that I wanted to say to kind of the thing that I love, and Coach Sig was very apparent about this in multiple interviews. He ranks every single player he has, from the first player to the last player. I'm not Coach Sig. I can't answer for this, but if he thinks Elijah Sherritt's going to be the 8th best player, he's going to add the 8th best player, and the 85th player gets cut.
Yep.
If TJ Jackson can be the 12th best player, he's going to add the 12th best player, and the 84th player gets cut.
Yep.
That is phenomenal management of a program. That is phenomenal management of a roster. That is not holding loyalty for loyalty's sake. That is tough business, but that is good business. What do you think?
I think Cignetti's on fire. I think he is an absolute home run. I think he is doing things the right way, and he is building a roster in a way that makes sense. And I think if you're an IU fan, you have to have expectations, maybe not super high, but at least, your optimism
for sure
has to be high.
Perfect. Great outro, guys. Everyone, thank you so much. Tyler Cherry, thank you so much. Be sure to check out the pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at Happy Hour IUFB, and make sure to follow our partner, Big Banter, for all the latest updates involving podcasts from 13 other top-notch pods that cover all the teams in the conference. Be sure to download, follow, rate, and review to all of our platforms. See you, everybody.
Penix got robbed. Go Huskies.